Hi, I'm here with artist Joanna Coupland. Hello, Joanna.
Hello, Fiona.
Can you tell the listeners a little bit about how you started?
Well, it's kind of evolved really from whenever I was 18. I studied fashion, where I began drawing, which I adored. And then it kind of travelled on really. I left, it wasn't really the world that I wanted to go into. Met my husband, married, had children. I was very lucky and was able to bring up my children together. And then after that, I attended a foundation course at the college up the road from my house, which I absolutely adored. It was full time, but it still enabled me to pick the children up from school and make sure they had everything they needed. I absolutely adored the whole side of the drawing and getting to know all the arty people, and thrown into a world of 22-year-olds at the age of 36, which was a little bit scary to start off with, but I thoroughly enjoyed it once I got used to it. I was asked at that point to provide a small selection of Christmas decorations by a lady who does a lot of work with charity work, Save the Children. And so I produced a range of Christmas decorations, and much to my absolute surprise but delight, they went down a treat and everybody really liked them. And so I finished my foundation, which, I think I've said before, I just loved, and, enabled me to bring back what I had before on the creative side. After that, I was kind of shown in the direction of doing a degree course, which I was a bit scared of to start off with, and thought, well, I can't do that because I've got children, and that's just, something that I can't do. So that's for everybody else, not for me. But then I decided, to hell with it, I'm going to do that. So I attended Cleveland College of Art, which is in Hartlepool, part-time, and did that for 6 years. And I also thoroughly enjoyed that and was absolutely gutted when I had to leave after 6 years. During the time that I was there, I worked quite a lot with, it was mainly drawing and flat work on fabric, embroidery and printing and all that kind of thing. But I also started, because we weren't allowed to do any 3D work there, I was absolutely itching to make something, a finished piece rather than just doing, flat pieces of work.
Yeah.
And which was when I started creating birds. And I was just drawing them one day and I just thought, I wonder what that would be like if it was 3D. How can I do that? Bought some wire, made this cockerel. I was quite excited about it and kind of went on from there, really.
How would you describe your style?
It's quite difficult to describe my style, really. It's kind of a collection of all kinds of things thrown together. I think a lot of it looks like it's just been thrown together, but actually it's quite carefully considered. I think my style of my living space and the way I dress, etc., is a lot of it's ruled by colour and what colours I would put together. And I think over the years I've kind of realised that I just like to fuse different colours together.
Just recently you've done a TV show and have also been asked by a few magazines to do some features. Do you think your interior style reflects into your work?
Very much so, and I find it the opposite way around as well. So if I'm producing a piece of work which, has, say, pink and green in it, which works really well, then I think, I actually would really like a pink and green something in the house. And sometimes, get very excited about mixing colours together. But it's also shapes and textures and different kind of formations that, I get quite excited about as well.
Because you're quite daring. You make quite bold statements.
Yes, yeah. I think over the years I've kind of realised that anything goes, really. Just don't be frightened of putting things next to each other. It stems from taking a risk.
Can you describe your process of making your work?
The process that I have kind of developed over the years is a kind of drawing with wire. So it's like a 3D drawing with wire. That's where all my work starts, and then everything's covered with several layers of tissue paper, which it's a kind of form of paper mache, really. And because they're quite small structures, even though they're made with tissue paper, they are quite They are quite robust, yes. People always think they're very delicate because they're very light as well. Then the drying process takes place, which is basically me hanging them on the radiators. Then they're painted using inks and dyes and, well, any kind of paint form really, as long as I get the actual colour that I want. I've recently been using lots of pearlescent inks which give off very gorgeous, vibrant colours. And then they're basically, the birdies are all decorated with flitter, a very fine form of glitter. They're also decorated with beads and sequins and topped off with a little flowery hat.
So when was your first Birds of Paradise? When was that made?
I would say the kind of stem from seagulls that I made whenever I did my foundation course. But then they kind of developed when I made, I think probably, it was a cockerel actually, that I made when I was doing my degree. But it wasn't quite as Bird of Paradise as the Birds of Paradise that you can see in Radiance.
Your birds at Radiance have a lot of reaction from the customers because they've got such characteristics. Do you name the birds when you're working on them?
No, I never name the birds because I feel that that's up to the customer.
To give it a special home?
To give it a special home or a special name.
What inspires you?
I'm inspired by a lot of different things. I particularly like to break boundaries. So, in other words, I like to put things together that shouldn't go together under any circumstances. There's no two colours that shouldn't be put together. I like to mix textures and I like to mix old things with new things. I like to mix things I've collected from my travels to things I've made or brand new things. Kitsch things from IKEA, just put the whole thing in there together and it's more how you position it rather than what you've actually got.
What are you working on at the moment?
At the moment I'm working on a collection of things, but mainly over the next couple of days I'm going to be working on a deer's head that I'm making for somebody, complete with antlers. It's kind of a life-sized piece. So it's kind of a bit like an environmentally friendly mounted stag's head, which won't light up, but maybe one day it will.
Yes.
Which will be made in the same way as the birds, with paper and wire, and then painted with, eyes and the whole works.
And you've been doing a lot of Christmas decorations for Radiance. Has that been kind of taking up most of your time at the moment?
Yes, I've been making a lot of bird lights, which seem to be flying out, which is brilliant. Everybody seems to like them. I also make fruit and veg fairy lights for Radiance. They're kind of made in the same way, but with different decorations. And some of them have ribbons on, so there's strawberries and passion fruits and half oranges, and then there's lemon and limes in there as well.
What's your New Year's resolution?
To carry on being passionate and enthusiastic about what I do, and to have a lot more stockists nationwide, and to just be known throughout the country would be fabulous. I also dream of much larger projects and creating kind of winter wonderlands for stately homes and, more life-size pieces. Large projects would be very exciting. I love a challenge.
Have you got any exciting news coming up?
I've just been asked to create a crown or a tiara for Miss York next year. So that'll be quite a challenging but exciting project.
Yeah.
I've just filmed a TV programme which is coming out on ITV in early next year, and I've done a few magazine features which are also coming out next year, end of this year, beginning of next year. So they're all kind of exciting things to look forward to.
It's been lovely talking to you, Joanna, and I'll see you at Radiance soon.
Yes, it's been lovely, and I look forward to popping over to Hebden Bridge very soon with lots of exciting new creations.
If you would like to know more about Radiance and its products, go to www.radiancelighting.co.uk.